The daughter I have raised for 14 years turns out to be someone else's. My biological daughter was so close that I didn't recognize her. The monkey also found out that his daughter had made a mistake and couldn't wait to remember the 4 seconds after the child was born. Accidentally fell into the Kangli. I met a smelly duck head, but I was still drinking water with ease. What's worse is that there is a wave in the Haojiao nearby. The sound is getting closer and closer. Jiyu, who also shouted, "What are you doing standing there? Why don't you think of a way to pull me up the throat? The wolf will come soon, and you won't be able to survive." Gu Jiao not only slowly said, "Wait a minute." Suddenly the number of old friends has increased. Monkey Leaf is as worried as a powder. "Hey, where are you going?" The old man did not answer him, but the wolf was trembling in the trees as he approached. "Good night." I looked up. The wolf's eyes were glowing green, and its mouth was wide open. It looked like it had been evil for several days. There is no way to escape now. As expected, this little girl is in great danger and runs away on her own. She can only follow the beast to fight to the death. Therefore, the monkey also tightly holds the nose and hand in his hand. The dead cultivator pounced on him and slapped his nose and hand away with one claw. Then he bit into the hall. Mr. Jiyu had a bowel movement. It seems that he is going to explain it here today. Xian Jun instantly. As soon as I received a small business, it fell from the sky. Repair the wolf's head and shut up until she can be solved. His whole body was covered with old friends. He bent down and opened the door with a knife, and the old prince still looked like he couldn't believe that this girl really killed a wolf. Look at him like this, and he was stuck at the time. By CAI, looking at the fierce circle of monkey eyes in my hometown is really rare and strange. If I couldn't kill a wild wolf, I would have died 1,000 times in my previous life. Gu Jiao looked so happy that he didn't need to go on this trip. If a wolf comes into an emergency, he can exchange for a lot of money. It's just right to subsidize the family. Gu Jiao will fall out of the trap in a few seconds. The old monkey Leaf is still in the serious state. The old friend throws the son of God away and says quietly, "Mother, come up." Therefore, the monkey first made a comment and then climbed up obediently even with the rope. He sat on the ground for a long time before he came down. "Did you just take my left and right ears? My old friend is very hungry. There is no reason why he has monkey eyes." So the Marquis gritted his teeth and said, "Come on, tell me, are you waiting for the role?" Jiyu Jiao not only said without hesitation that in that situation, you would be overtaken even if you were not a child, but it was also easier for me to kill him in a trap. While on flat ground you would definitely be bitten by him twice. The old prince almost died on the spot after hearing this, so you just use me as a child. You think it's a lot and it's overwhelming. Gu Jiao said dissatisfiedly, "I am also pressing my head. I have hurt you." Jiyu, who is also cold, right? Then where are you? My old friend thought about it. He can't come, but you can go find him. So the Marquis is on his sleeve. Okay, tell me where he is. Jiyu Jiao turned his eyes to the soles of his feet. He was under the ground. Gu Ho was speechless again. This pressure on the head was too powerful. Seeing that Gu Jiao is about to leave, Gu Ho is also anxious. Just leave me here and ignore him. Gu Jiao glances at him. Who are you to me? Why should I care about you? Therefore, Monkey Leaf's head hurts again. I finally found out. I have never seen this pressure disappear. I don't understand that waiting has little power. Forget it, let's not argue with him. So Monkey Leaf said calmly, "Fortunately, Monkey Leaf is not the person trying to kill you, otherwise you would have died." Gu Jiao looked deeply at his meaning, nodded and said, "It's indeed a blessing. If you don't look at the throat lobe, it will look like you are smart." Suddenly I felt a little cold on my neck, so I quickly changed the subject. Do you know how to move around here in 4 seconds? Jiyu, who also forgot and did not expect that because of these words, he was about to lose a lot of winning pieces. In the old suburbs, a tiger actually used a monkey leaf to kill the wolf. He also lied to him for 72 ingzi. Gu Ho also asked Gu Jiao to take him to the nearby area for 4 seconds. Gu Jiao did not answer and looked at the wolf on the ground thoughtfully. The prince also thought that he was reluctant to part with the wolf, so he said generously, "I bought it." Just like this, Gu Jiao's pocket bag on the 22nd road. He looked at the wolf on the ground. What are you going to do with him? The old monkey man threw it away without a silk lock. Gu Jiao looked at him. Are you sure you want to throw it away? The old monkey man looked at him. If you don't become a wolf, why don't you lead the way? So I bent down, picked up the wolf and led the way. You have already thrown it away. This is my fault. Don't look for me. Therefore, I only dare to think in my heart, Mom, can you carry it? Why didn't you say anything just now? You acted like you were hesitant. Are you deciding to carry it with each hand? You are so gentle and cute. Look at this again. Pressing the head shows that there is no release point in Jihuan's body. Fortunately, she is not my daughter. The old friend pointed to the top of the steps. Go up the steps and you can see the 4 seconds. After saying that, he turned around and left. The old prince taught him. Wait, won't you take me up there? The old friend stopped and looked at him. Why should I take you up there? The old monkey leaf told himself to calm down. Pai Xiao asked shamelessly, why do you think I bought your wolf? I didn't want it after I bought it, so I threw it away on the spot. Jiu Jiao thought seriously for 5 seconds, because women are stupid and have many books before. After saying this, they can't leave without looking back. Therefore, even a monkey can spit out a mouthful of old blood. I can't be right, I can't fight, so I can only climb up on my own. The Huye and the abbot came to Yi and learned that that day was indeed true. There are other shipments produced in 4 seconds. I don't know who it is. All I know is that he doesn't come from a wealthy family, and all the clothes he wears are patched. The old man also felt distressed. He didn't expect his biological daughter to be violently taken away by such a poor family. She must have suffered a lot. When she is found, she must compensate her well. Guho Yi said goodbye to Fang Zan in a hurry. I'm wondering how to get down the mountain. Suddenly I heard the sound of a horse raising. Why is it this stinky girl again? This horse is a bit too much for acting. Mr. Jiu is staring at his horse. Where did you get the horse? Professor Jiu belongs to Jen. Jiu Hai's face is darkened. After reading this, if you can do anything, you can reduce the size of the horse. The old lord also said to Su, this is my horse. I didn't throw it away. I wrote a poem accidentally. My old friend is not that good. How can you prove that this horse is yours? The Marquis also thought of a piece of evidence, the horse ladder iron, which is worn by war horses in the army and is completely different from the horse ladder iron on the market. Unexpectedly, the old man told me that I have never met another sycophant. How do I know if it is just one-sided by you? Otherwise, you go to Yamen to report the crime. If the late master says that the horse is yours, then I will return the horse to you. As soon as the old prince was exposed, I was also the one after all. After Tang Tang settled down, I ran to Xian Yue because of Yi Pingma to report the crime. Isn't it shameful for me? My old friend is thinking about cheating. If you really want, I can sell him to you. Hey, I will. It's not easy for Jane to come back. The monkey dared to be angry, but dared not say anything. He still weakly asked how much it would cost. The old friend blurted out 50 taels. Jiu Hui is furious. How can a broken horse be more expensive than a horse? You are starting from the land. Gu Jiao said seriously, the wolf is not your gangshu. Ma Shi, Gu Huiyi is so angry that he can't speak. I can only obediently spend 50 taels to buy my own. The guy who was looking for money from the US took 70 taels and went to disperse his energy. The daughter I have raised for 14 years is not my biological daughter. I don't know what happened to my biological daughter. Therefore, the monkey also sent people to inquire around. After investigation, only the child from Qingchuan village was left. He asked Emperor Xinfu to inquire first. After receiving the order in panic, he immediately rushed to Qingchuan village. When they arrived at the Jiu family's old house, it was Jiu Yuela who opened the door. Someone was looking for Grandpa, so he came in a big carriage. Ignorant of hearing that he was working on a big carriage, he responded and asked, "What's the matter with my house?" Emperor Zong came and wanted to inquire about the child who was born in the temple. Ignoring the crazy hints, he couldn't pretend to inquire. Huangju Cipher Conference took out a silver dollar newspaper from his arms, and the series Ding Zhenin Yuanbao is so eye-catching. Ignoring his eyes, he quickly grabbed the audio source treasure and happily said what he wanted to know. Tatsuhiro asked, leaving a look of reluctance, but he was still a little slow. Huang Zhong asked, "Is that child a girl? How old is it?" He ignored the alliance and nodded, "It's a girl. My name is Jiu Jiao, 14 years old. I don't know the specific month and day of the birth. This grandma is also out of luck. Sometimes she says she knows she was born in October. I don't know the exact number. This is the way back to the old days. Said it was the 18th or something." The emperor was so excited that everything was correct. It was unmistakable that this family had the wrong young lady. Don't worry, I'm not a human being. There may be some charlatanism in what I say. I wonder if you can let me see my godmother. So Changlu just refused. Emperor Zong could only say that he wanted to meet the child's parents. He said shamelessly, his parents passed away. I am his mother. I raised him. What can you tell me? Have you lost your parents since childhood? The emperor's mood suddenly became complicated. He thought about it. Could he go into Wu to talk? The emperor was concerned about the details of the birth that year and the situation of the child's mother, Shushi. Shushi was not from the village, he was from the original price. At that time, Gui's mother-in-law was seriously ill, and there was a flood on the mountain. She was trapped on the mountain for 2 days. When going down the mountain, I held my newborn baby in my arms. The red end on the internet is so ugly that it doesn't look like a painting. The emperor is very sure that Jianyang is the child she is looking for. It seems that Shushi does not know that the child has reported an error. Are Shushi and Sanlang good to the child? When the third child was alive, all he had to do was to take care of the child. After saying this, I felt a little guilty. The hard life of the missionary mother only started after the death of her parents. The emperor thought for a while and said with excitement, to be honest, my wife also gave birth in 4 seconds. The 2 children may have reported the wrong thing back then. I ignored a few people who were shocked. I didn't quite understand. Say it again. The emperor smiled. The third eldest daughter is my young lady. We work for Nding Hufu. Everyone in the room was dumbfounded. That girl turned out to be Hofu's. There are flowers blooming in the royal center, and my monkey leaf is right on top. Can I take that child to see my monkey leaf? Ignoring the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. They feel so desolate. We've bullied that boss a lot over the years. If monkey leaf knows, will we lose our teeth? After discussion, Ji Ren decided to let people pretend to be old friends to meet Monui. This family is so shameless. We won't let them succeed. He was originally a monkey's daughter, because of his birth. He is an irritable village girl from Luanwei. His parents went to school when he was 5 years old. From then on, his hard life began. Because of the red spots on his face, he was called ugly and ugly every day in his hometown. Everyone in the village likes to bully him. What is even more chilling is the so-called relatives. Except for Jiyu Shaoshan, no one in the Jiyu family treats him well. Good things would be delicious without it, and it would be responsible for all the work of hiding life and tears. When he was less than 14 years old, he married a man with a missing son, and was driven out of his hometown, Shanguo. Now his biological father, Monkey Leaf, has come to visit him. These people are afraid that the hometown will retaliate against them. Therefore, Chang Haiti asked her daughter Jiu Yue to pretend to be from the hometown to meet Huye, ignoring Jiu Changlu, and arresting the couple on her own. Big brother, it's really not possible. This is Huye. If we find out, we still have to lose our heads. Therefore, Chang Hai began to persuade the second wife, if you don't think about yourself, why don't you think about the second saint? If Yue goes to the monkey house, I will definitely let him take the second saint to study in the capital. My second brother, I will buy you a shop in the town to do business, and ensure that your family can live a good life. The family decided happily like this. Ju Shibi's daughter changed into similar clothes and dressed up specially. Yu Yu's heart was unwilling to shed tears of sadness, and she was comforted by them. The second instance knew that you were reluctant to leave home, and thought that Dad was doing it for your own good. After you go to the Marquis mansion to be a young lady, your life will be sealed. Don't forget about the second trial and your family. The Emperor is a little bit upset when he sees you Wei crying all the time. The Marquis doesn't want to take you back immediately. He came here today just to see you first. If you really can't bear to ignore it, Lian Blind said that it's a family reunion. What's the point? He couldn't bear to say that Mr. Who was his biological father. Guge reluctantly got on the carriage. I don't want to go to a strange place. I don't want to leave home. How could the Li family care about Guge's thoughts? They all began to have big spring and autumn dreams. As the family watched the carriage start to leave, they all felt relieved. Now they felt at ease. Sai, the girl in the hometown, would not know. Unexpectedly, Jiu Xiaochun is back now, and seems to be in a particularly good mood, throwing books away while walking. Jiu Changhai jumped. Why was Xiaoshan so forced to come back? Ju comforted him that it was okay and he couldn't see it. When the carriage passed by Jiu Xiaoshan, he heard the crying in the carriage. He casually picked up Jiuyu's forehead. Jiuyu's forehead jumped. Huang Zhong quickly jumped out of the carriage and asked coldly where did the boy come from. Jiyu Shaoshun looked at the person in front of him, looking fierce and stupid. Jiyu Yuexie kept crying, and had a bad feeling in his heart. Now that Jiyu Yuexie has reached the age of marriage. Who are the good enemies in the family? What happened to this situation? Old man, are you planning to buy him back as a baby? So Xiaoshun's bad temper has come up. He doesn't even know your grandpa Xiaoshun, so he dares to come to his old home to rob someone. Get off the carriage. So Xiaoshun sells the carriage. He wants to sell his grandfather off the carriage. Huang Zhonglian's blind wisdom pointed out that the boy has something to say, so the novel said angrily, I don't need much money from you. I sold myself to you. The emperor asked about your uncle's daughter. This is the daughter of the third brother of the Jiyu family. Jiyu Jianyang, etc. You are from the Jiyu family. Jiyu Shaoshun was angry when he heard Wang Deng came. Are you stupid? I don't know my knot. It's so big. Your dog eyes can see clearly. Jiyu Yui, the daughter of the eldest daughter of the Jiyu family. I just want to say, Shaoshun did a great job. She was originally a daughter of a monkey, but she fell into trouble because of her miscarriage with the daughter of the Lun Yuanlong family. Now the father who committed suicide has come to visit Huye, and his sister actually wants to go to see Huye in her place. Fortunately, he was discovered by his younger brother Jiyu Shaosheng. The emperor was also the last to crawl. He almost made a big mistake. I asked Jiyu Shaoshun for the news. Do you know where my old lady is? I saw that Shaoshun didn't answer. He was very defensive. I didn't mean any harm. It's just that my master wanted to see Tai Ying in time. Otherwise, you can tell me that my appearance is fine. People with intelligence are as good as locks. Therefore, Shaoshun thought for a while. It was also the case before that Erzhan had rushed to us. It's okay to tell you. I'll look for it. After saying that, I started rummaging in my school bag. Huang Zhong's face was filled with confusion. Can you find someone in the school bag? So Xiaoshun took out the Mujiao, Mo, I just found this. Huang Zhong looked at the target in disbelief. So Xiaoshun patted his chest and said, don't worry, my sister and I are the closest in the family. This goal is exactly the same as hers. Gujiao didn't know anything about what happened in Gujiao. When Gujiao returned home, he saw only one person alive. Come on, my parents-in-law are having sex all by themselves. After hearing this, Gujiao quickly went to Jinkong and asked for Hong Hong's little dumpling. Xiao Jin is so boneheaded. Humph, it's okay if he didn't eat any meat. When he woke up, Jiao Jiao was still gone. I ignored him today. Teacher Jiyu knelt down and said softly, I'm angry. Xiao Jinkong put his face to his face. Without speaking, Jiyu Jiao said, okay, it's my fault today. I'll apologize to you. I'll take you out to buy expensive flour cakes later. Can you forgive me? Xiao Jinkong pinched the corners of her wings and said softly, I need a gentle touch to forgive you. The old friend was almost blind to words. Such a cute little dumpling, don't say a single word, 100 of them would be no problem. The old friend kissed him on the couple without hesitation. And Xiao Jinkong felt depressed for a moment, then he looked helpless and ran away shyly. People said casually that you are really angry. Pin Liu Lang looked at all this and his face darkened. This little one has just finished becoming popular, and the older one is probably about to get promoted. Xiao Jin has piled up a lot of money, quickly reduce the shares. Don't touch my dear, King Pin Liu said through gritted teeth, no, your kiss. Xiao Jinkong is really going to be so popular that you leave it to me. You don't have Xiao Liu Lang and you won't be disappointed. You don't need me to move. They will fly away by themselves when you fall asleep. Xiao Jin's air is bulging. I'll think about them again. I'll meet them tomorrow morning. You can't leave me after you sprout. Liang Ji looked at Xiao Jinkong. If you don't believe it, just wait and see. Jiyu Jiao looked at them with a satisfied look on his face. It's good like this now. At least I'm no longer alone. I've finished all the things I wanted to do today. You can take Xiao Jinkong to buy expensive flour cakes. I didn't expect that this game would cause big trouble. Shifubao, the child in Shenquan village, is indeed the daughter who made the mistake that year. Therefore, the monkey lost his mind after listening to it, and actually found it. There was no response from the WHO message. Boy, are you okay? So boy came to his senses. Where is the person who is okay? WHO says people attending conferences will bring. The old man couldn't stand it anymore, but he finally found it without much trouble. Maybe God will let me take him back. I don't know who the child looks like. In fact, I am more like his mother. I was too engrossed in my thoughts and lost my mind for a moment. He bumped into a small dumpling and the flower fell to the ground. Xiao Jin fell to the ground in fear of moving. Oops, the expensive flower is gone. Gu Jiao building quickly ran over to ask Jin Kong what happened, did it hurt from the fall, and were there any injuries? Xiao Jin Kong was used to falling. I got up very nervously. My little heart is injured. I don't know how to comfort it. I can only say that you should be careful next time. I waited in line for an hour to buy the cabinet flower ointment. It's normal to be sad if it's gone like this, but do you want to smoke so much? At this time, the old prince also came to his senses. Aunt Xiao Jin pointed at him. I was very careful. It's not my fault. It was him who bumped into me. So he meditated and saw why there was this girl everywhere. Why did those people, who had seen each other in the hometown, meet this uncle again? Therefore, Monkey Leaf said unexpectedly, who let him block the way. Why don't you take good care of people when you bring a child out? My heart is like a lonely island. How can I, a Monkey Leaf, come up to a child? He took out some gold coins and threw them in front of his hometown. It's enough to buy a handful of gooey hua cakes for this little shadow. I told him to leave. Jiyu Jiao looked at the shadow on the ground and Jiyu Huya's shabby appearance, and he became angry. Get along with each other. Carrying the burden of Guku, Mr. Jiyu said to Heng Heng, smelly girl, you are looking for death. Jiyu said without thanks. Who told you to be a party official? It happened that the wife was also passing by, so the prince also shouted loudly, and asked someone to come and catch the wild girl. Xianlin Xinxiang's chance to perform has come. Quickly seize the man named Ding Zhuang throat leaf, and push him back to the room behind the door. Gu Jiao and Xiao King Kong were surrounded. For these little Luluo, old friends can beat them up in just a few seconds. It's just that they shamelessly beat Xiao Jin Kong and took him away. It's no problem to force Xiao Jin Kong back from this distance. I'm just worried that I'll go down to Xiao Jin Kong. The solid friends dare not invade Wang Dong. If they escape and are chased by the fangs, it will affect the 6 wolves. I can only follow them back to my hometown. Xiao Jin Kong cried often with tears. Watching the old suburbs being brought back to the front of the teeth, the old Monkey Leaf smiled happily. 3 times and 5 times, I found short-lived tea. This time I will teach you a lesson. Therefore, no matter how happy Monkey Leaf is now, he will regret it in the future. There's no hope here. I'll send my biological daughter to the dentist. I'm still very happy. Gu Ho also looked at the current situation, and tied up Gu Jiao and Xiao Jing. He smiled like a fool. Huang Zhong encountered the infection report. The wooden carving of the horse in the madness fell badly. This is what the lady looks like. So why is there a reason for the goal? Why does it feel a bit like that? Then Mr. Jiyu thought seriously for 30 seconds and finally remembered. Isn't this the stinky girl, who was captured by my order just now? Therefore, the Marquis is not well anymore. What have I done? It turns out that he is my daughter. Now I don't recognize Ren, and I am still talking about it. It will be even harder to find him for writing in camp. Therefore, the Monkey Leaf airship feels empty and the teeth are present. The current situation is also very suitable. Therefore, Monkey Leaf, why are you here? The official will definitely be extended to him. Jiyu he didn't even look at Tai and walked towards the carriage where Jiyu Jiao was imprisoned. Okay, the joint venture carriage is empty, so why not? As for people, Mr. Xian was also dumbfounded. I saw with my own eyes that the pressure man and the child got into the carriage and flew away together. Could it be that he is a master of concealment? Mrs. Xian, the grandpa is sweating over Xiaoguan's dereliction of duty. Xiaoguan will send people to capture him immediately. The big waiter will see if he dares to escape. Jiyu who also had a look on his face. Dog officer, why don't you catch the 2 children and return the big assassin to heaven? Isn't the fierce circle on Tai's face caused by you asking your subordinate to catch him? Therefore, the monkey also scolded the current state. I asked you to arrest you. As a parent, I will not stand up for my wronged person. I know what to say. What is the use of Fuji district defending? The current state is also very aggrieved. I am the biggest injustice. At this time, I met Xiao Jingkong, who was signing the official signature. Xiao Jingkong was in a very good mood with the Bingtang Lake Road. Xiao Jingkong was bolder than other children. But after all, he was only 3 years old. Not paying is still a matter of concern. Were you scared just now? Xiao Jin's empty chain sugar moves weakly. I'm not afraid. I am an old friend and thought that the more I encounter this kind of thing, it seems not good for children to learn from it. Xiao Jingkong went to exaggerate. Jiao Jiao, you are very powerful. I also want to become very powerful, even more powerful than Jiao Jiao, so that Jiao Jiao doesn't have to be powerful. I squatted in my hometown and my steps didn't need to be very powerful. Xiao Jingkong Yang started. Teaching is very hard. Master said that powerful people have suffered a lot and will continue to suffer a lot in the future. An old friend fell into Chen Sai. This is the first time someone has asked me if I am awake. Hard work. I learned every day after joining the organization in my previous life. Go to the advanced service training class. All they care about is whether I can finish it. As for the task, my old friend from Shaojing Space didn't answer, with a sad look on his face. Am I making Jiao Jiao feel hard? Teacher Jiu touched his little bald head and said, no, it's not good at all to raise a little boy. Xiao Jinkong took Xiao Quan Quan and patted her chest. I will teach you how to understand when I grow up. When I grow up, I will be taken up the mountain by you. Xiao Jinkong secretly swore that I would carry you up the mountain. You would cry anxiously and let me eat. At this time, I still don't know about my old friend. What happened to someone when he was 3.5 years old? The queen in charge really did it. No one dared to let him suffer anymore in the 6 kingdoms. The old friend was sent to the hospital by the old He. Fortunately, he was fully clothed and escaped with Xiao Jinkong. After covering up the pain for a day, Xiao Jing fell asleep in the empty space, fearing that she would drool in Gujiao's arms. Gujiao looked at Xiao Jinkong and felt full of love in his heart. He is such a cute and full-hearted little dumpling. As soon as he arrived at the entrance of the village, Jiu Jiao saw a person. Isn't this the part that sent him and Xiao Jinkong to the teeth? Why is there such a nasty guy everywhere? My old friend keeps alerting me. What's so valuable about me? Sir Monkey Leaf is a little embarrassed. I'm not here to catch you. I don't mean any harm. Sir Monkey Leaf also introduced himself. I believe that I am the Marquis of Dingen from Dingen Marquis Hot Spring Mountain. My old friend looked unconcerned and thought to myself, what does this have to do with me? He said coldly. If you are here to apologize, no need. I don't believe it. Therefore, the monkey is also anxious. I am not here to come to you. I have something to tell you. You may not believe it, but you and we Guho professional experts can spread the word, but why can't we say it out loud? Jiu Jiao became impatient. What am I talking to you about? You must have some kind of weird body, and you have fallen in love with me. Lord Jiu, who was almost mad to death. Who does this girl think I am? She is such an enemy, and she will clear her father by herself. So I got angry at night. Do you know who I am? I am you. I don't know what Jiu Hu said, but I was fucked by Jiu Hu for a full 15 minutes. Therefore, Monkey Leaf drags one thing to another without saying anything, and walks back to his carriage with one heart and one mind. Huang Zhongzhong looks like he wants to laugh, but dare not laugh. He asks cautiously, Monkey Leaf, are you still going? It couldn't have been done by a lady, right? You can't even beat a lady. The monkey also wanted to save face and said loudly, I don't care about him. The emperor looked disbelieving and said with eyes, okay, my subordinate made a mistake. You should get in the carriage and rest first. The emperor still couldn't understand, so he turned around and asked Huye, Miss, she was so harsh, didn't you tell her that you were her father? Mentioning this, Jiu Huye became even more angry. Why didn't you tell her? Emperor Zhong Deng is curious. What did you say? Mr. Jiu was furious. I said I was his father. He said I scolded him and then he did it to me. Huang Zhong rolled his eyes. You deserve to be beaten. Why didn't you say you were his big eye? Is the word dad a mouthful or something? He didn't dare to say anything. He could only say it in his heart. So his miserable life has begun. Either I'm being beaten by you, or I'm on the way to being beaten by you. Bu Ming regained her identity as a red rotten daughter. Bu Ho also took it back to the capital, lived in a big house, and had good food and drink. Every day, a dozen men stabbed him and assaulted his father-in-law. A car that seems to have the same love for him. Not only is it good for him, but the scenery is. The rich love in the capital, Nanny Shu, is all gold and bronze. However, Jiu Jiao didn't know a word of Chinese characters, and he was even more clumsy and tongue-tied when he spoke. Although it is a fake daughter, but he received a good education since childhood, was leisurely and elegant, well-educated and well-spoken. Compared with Jiu Jingyu's appearance and thick pen on orange paper made him feel like a big smile. Everyone is saying that the Jiu family checked a wild duck head under a box. The servants began to laugh at him and said all kinds of unpleasant things. He was so ignorant that he might as well not come back and follow Miss Yu closely. Go in first and start playing him. It would be embarrassing to be with him. His family members who once loved him no longer care about him. In order to save what should be his own, Gu Jiao, he did some bad things under the investigation of a caring person, causing everyone to be disappointed in him. Therefore, the monkey leaf is even more thunderous. After picking you up, the monkey has always treated you well. Now that you have done such a thing, he has let me down. The rich man in the suburbs begged me hard. I made the mistake because I was picked on by others. Wu Ho is also even more angry. He had no feelings for his biological daughter in the first place, but now he is even more merciless when he does something wrong. Someone will take it away from the capital and fend for himself. Don't let me see you again. I just said that I did something bad in my hometown. But this fall is really heartless. He was given a special outfit in his hometown. His family ignored him, and he hung up his ring every day. Shang Xinyujue left this world forever on a cold winter night. If you knew it would be like this, it would be better if you didn't return to the capital. Wouldn't the evil situation be different? An old friend was surprised from the dream. Why did I have this dream? The person in the dream should be the original. The original owner's intensity was fixed at, and he was still provoked by others based on their looks. He feels sad when he doesn't get the care of his family, and he's also daunted by his physical skills. He's really pitiful, but don't worry, nothing will happen with me here. If I want to kill someone, I will do it cleaner than a bad place. This family is so stinky and shameless. Jiu Jia actually wanted Jiu Yui to replace Jiu Jia to meet Mr. Jiu. Fortunately, Bu Xiaoshan appeared at the critical moment, but Gu Jiao knew nothing about all this. He had decided to make a fool of himself, so why didn't Xiao Sheng come over? The uncle told him that Xiao Sheng had to go to the academy and pay attention. For a while, Professor Jiu said that he didn't know why he suddenly went to live in the academy. Jiu said that he didn't know. Anyway, he left in a hurry. Therefore, Xiaoshan and Xiao Huang took part in the good deeds of his old family. Therefore, Chang Hai, his wife and Mr. Liu wanted to beat him to death. He could only run away and live in Suyuanbi, and he was still in a good mood, although he couldn't go to my sister for dinner. You can eat and drink well even if you have the shadow of Google. Jiu Jiao became worried. I will send him some winning words tomorrow. My parents-in-law said that he gave them. Gu Jiao looked surprised. Where did your shadow come from? The sound of the bow hoop was heard. I thought it was for others to hear. I was impressed by my hometown, and my emotional spirit developed at home. The night came. Cuckoo doesn't take it seriously, and you don't want your gold-creating medicine anyway, so I sold them all. An old friend asked weakly, have you done this before? My aunt said she didn't remember much, but what I sold was not a gold bed. He thought about it seriously. It seemed to be an aphrodisiac. No deal for 15 yuan. It was later recorded that he was suspected of selling aphrodisiacs to Feipi from his guide, and accept Huelu's control power to place orders. Don't talk about feelings with me because of your embarrassing remarks. The emperor controls the tax. She is worthy of being the winner of a public fight. But how could the Empress Dowager of Tang and Tang dynasties live in the countryside and lose her memory? After dinner, Jiu Jiao tied it up and put Xiao Jin Konghong to sleep. Then he went back to his room. Liu Lang went to the provincial capital to take the exam. He would not return until next month. Xiao Sheng stayed in the academy again. There were 2 people missing from the house, and it felt strangely deserted. On the other side, Penu Liang and Feng Lin finally arrived at the provincial capital after several days of long-distance shooting. Feng Lin lay on the bed and complained. They were really cheating people. They had a room together. Why didn't they go and steal the money? The 6 wolves came in with their bills. They were all candidates who had stayed in the prefecture and hospital. After the end of the market, the price dropped. On Fengming Road, he had a bad mouth and ate unclean things. He had a stomachache all the time. He believed that he had prepared for the reinstatement of the association. Otherwise, we won't be able to make the journey. Fengming has to prepare to rest after drinking. It's getting late for Liu Lang. We have been on the road for so long, so we should rest early. Xiaomi Wang said that he would like to read the Book of Fire again. It's the first time I've been away from home for so long. I'm not used to it. I miss my father. The corruption started, and the candidates entered the examination room one after another. Bimo guides the park to distribute the same 3 meals a day, and overnight oil will be specially delivered to Mianbei Street. You are not allowed to leave for inspection at other times except for storage. The first one is iron gold. Once you leave after starting the baking, you cannot return to the baking place no matter what the situation is. The iron gold exam requires passing at least 3 golds. Apart from the mandatory filial piety gold and luanyu, the designated break for the next gold must also be the lost gold. Choose one of the 2 middle schools in Hezhou. Except for the school fund, which only has 2,369 words, the total level of the other 3 uncles is about 90,000 words. The state with the largest number of withdrawals still has more than 50,000. Iron gold is very large, and it will take until the afternoon at the earliest. It is usually 10 minutes in the evening. Before candidates turn in their submissions one after another, Pinrulang wrote for half an hour and then went to bed. This time I gave up the scriptures. This is impossible. Who do you think you are? It must be because it can't be hit, or it's a reality lock. It's really embarrassing for you. The second game was a smash. I pinned 6-1 and just slept for half an hour. The examiner pointed at his waist and said, "It's so easy to hit when duo. You can't even write this. How did you get past the laying on of hands? How can you? The candidates of this year be so incapable of leading." The third test was the 8-part when test. The 8-part when test was taken for 2 consecutive days. This time, the questions were asked by Jingwei pretending to be an assassin. And the difficulty was average. But for a moment, the email candidate collapsed under too much pressure. When the examiner saw the question, he cursed in his heart, "It's so difficult, why don't you find it for me?" He thought that King Xiaoliu would definitely give up in less than half an hour this time. Who knew that he actually stayed there and didn't move? Why is this brat different from others? Being ordinary, but having no property, being rich, but having no friends, what are you doing? After seeing this title, Pinrulang didn't actually write anything, and thought he went back to his childhood. Why do Mr. pretend to do such a difficult homework? Heng, please do it for me. The smile of the girl Mingmai flashed through my mind. The strength is in my eyes. Huang is like yesterday. Who is this girl? Could it be Xiao Liulang's by Yueguang? On the 4th day of the emperor's wedding, the exam is over. Fengling is waiting at the intersection. Why hasn't Liulang come out yet? Why don't you ask the people inside? This is how Pinulu.com came out. Affected by the wind shadow, I went up to see pin6.com and looked down. What's wrong? Is it uncomfortable somewhere? Or it's not baked well? Liulang said calmly, "It's nothing." Feng Ming wanted to comfort him more, but Rakuro turned around and walked towards the passenger station. He was so famous that Rakuro seemed to be different from usual. He always felt that he's going to do something terrible at any time. Let's learn from the sales king. It's probably not because of the exam. What's the reason? This expression is too degrading. It's obviously good, but when I was forced to leave, I looked unhappy. What's going on? The salesman left the examination room and went to the away game. His heart was heavy. He passed by pretending to be the governor, pretending to be stabbed. I stopped and looked back at Pinrulang. Are you a little fire-eyed? But then I thought about it. The little monkey master was already dead. It was me who ran out of the ruins of the Guozijian with my own hands. The tragic scene was unforgettable in my life. Maybe it's just my eyesight, but with Xiao Huyan's appearance and wealth, it's impossible to find anyone in the 6 countries in the world. King Pinliu and Fang Lin were fighting away from home, and Fang Dun came from behind. Feng Ming turned to look at the person who came. I am no longer the terminal I used to be. I am simple and simple. After exchanging a few pleasantries with the admirer, I recognized the person as Duruahan. We drank from folk music, Rakuro. Do you remember him? Little Belly, the 3 of us went to a private club together when we were young. Duruahan is a little unsure. Have you admitted your mistake? He is not a meat wolf. Fenglin said with great certainty that he was Xiao Liulang. After all, the 3 of us haven't talked about it for more than 10 years. Fengling's Hua Lao and Duruahan couldn't finish talking. Piniao Lang felt that they had nothing in common, so he said he wanted to go back to his room to rest. Duruahan looked at the salesman's back and felt something different. He carries the aura of a young master from the capital, which is hard to detect for those who have never seen him before. Du Ruohan asked in a low voice what happened to his leg. Feng Lin felt very guilty. He lost weight to save me half a year ago, and now he is treating it. Sent by Du Ruohan. Before Pinlialang, my brain was not very good. I was always scolded by my master. He also said that Feng Ling bet that he would fail the exam. Feng Ling was not happy after hearing this. 6 wolves are different now. He first took the secret guard exam. I believe he can pass the show exam. Feng Lin decisively issued the Zhu Ke order. No one can look down on Liu Lang, even my childhood friends. Du Ruohan could only return because he was too familiar. He didn't expect that he would be betrayed and beaten up just after he entered the door. Why did he come back so late? Du Ruohan was frightened. I met my childhood friends and chatted with them for a while. I didn't believe it at all. I knew it had something to do all day long. I ordered it to be locked up and not allowed to go out. Du Ruohan yelled that I was wronged. I really went to the meeting. They live in Ukaijan. One of them is a candidate of this year who disappeared. I just finished taking the abnormal test questions. You asked. I have considered it. If you don't believe me, send someone to check. The assassin pretended to listen to the 3 pictures of fire. After a meal of reading, I don't even know the aunt who beat the pork cold. Mr. Luo, who is standing next to him, really wants to say, in fact, Mr. Du said that the test questions you asked were very perverted, and he was telling the truth. It seems that the truth cannot be told nonsense, and it is easy to do. Therefore, I have great skills in teaching clothes. Unfortunately, I only wear clothes once a month and never touch them. This made the second boss very troubled. He came to pick up Jiu Jiao early and said that the Hu Mansion wanted to invite him for a medical visit. Unexpectedly, Jiu Jiao agreed immediately. How come the boss is so easy to talk to when he has such a fierce look on his face? I changed my tricks all the way, and it was all in vain. Jiu Jiao quickly climbed onto the carriage and kept urging the second boss to hurry up. An hour later, they arrived at the hot spring villa. The one who came to pick them up was the little maid Yua from last time. The young master was taking a bath in the hot spring. A few guests were waiting for me. I went to give the young master some high-quality tea. Please enjoy. When Erdong added 8 chickens, Yuan Yang nodded and praised. Is Jiu Jiabai's Taiyang so delicious? The second boss said with a smile, the food with rotten throat is not only delicious but inedible. What he eats is not a snack, but a glory. At this time, a burst of small animal teachers came from the garden. What was the sound of the 3 of them? Gu Jiao got up and went to check, looking for the sound. I quickly found the little thing trapped under the fried face. What a wise dog. He was looking at Jiu Chi pitifully. Gu Jiao knelt down and touched Mao Rongrang's little head. Don't move. How can the puppy understand, but still move around? He needs to move the bomb, and help him pull out the wood thorns from the flesh. Just move this one first and put it back later. At this moment, a little maid came over. Someone with a big breast, stop it. Gu Jiao just ignores it and continues with the work at hand. This is a lucky shot for the little maid. Didn't your assistant hear me legislating to earn money from stock exchange? Gu Jiao turned around and looked at him again and again. The stupid and weak Twasuo let go of his hand. He recognized Gu Jiao, and Dai Fu's appendix doesn't need you. It's just a small medicine bucket, so you don't have to follow him every time. Gu Jiao lazily saluted him and continued to fight. Yuru is still there, and her mother broke up just because of a local dog. What kind of dog is worthy of a person? Do you know how much the female here can win? I just sold you and your dog. Hello, damn girl, did you hear what I said? The old friends are too noisy. I hold the puppy and want to leave. Lu Ruki's face is turning green. My skills are about to go here. Old friends. How dare you leave me alone? Put it down. Gu Jiao still ignored him, and just turned around to avoid him. The more it's like a broken dog eating shit and crushing the mother's sheet, the more it's like realizing that something is not good. Get up quickly. It's just that my hometown scolded me, and I ruined the lady's flowers. For example, Miss Yu's body-hugging body is tight and comfortable. No one dares to offend her. No one is willing to testify against Gu Jiao. Just then Yua came back and things took a turn for the better. In the suburbs of the old town, the young master Hu Fu was visiting a doctor. The egg was broken by the duckling and the wireless duck. No one dared to testify against him. At the critical moment, Chuo appeared. He was a weirdo who had ruined his life. How shameless. Yuru's face turned black. It was the one who broke it. It was the one who blew it up and took it out. If you don't believe me, ask them. They all saw it. The middleman lowered his head. For example, it's the personal compression that is tight to miss you. It's not cost-effective to offend a little drug addict. What's more, the young master usually hates these cats and dogs the most. First of all, no one dared to trick anyone. Yuru became even more arrogant. You see, it was his dream that caused the bad dream. Gujiao didn't even bother to look at Yuru. He carefully smashed the puppy bag. The 12 bosses and Fang Momo also came to the front. Fang Momo drank loudly from the pool and threw it out quickly. The second boss took a look at the end of the room, playing with his only child. The little girl cannibalizes people, but not hard. She said no, she has to be cruel to him. The second owner hurriedly applied to report the puppy. Give it to me. I will put it on the carriage. Please report that the puppy is not a killer. The second owner is also very helpless. The membrane is cold and raw. Let me say one more thing. Throw this little boy out, or he will get out of here too. This is a round sound coming from behind. Who can get out? It turns out to be an old performance by young Master Hufu. Everyone dared to show off their luggage, but only old friends stood and watched the show. The second owner's family barely made a move toward Gujiao. Gujiao ignored him and stood motionless. The old man asked everyone to get up. He looks like Fang Momo. Do you want me to ask him a second time? Fang Momo supports things. This is the proud look on Yuru's face. The young master despises these little things the most. The rabbits that the lady raised a few days ago were all thrown away. The head here really hit the blade. I'm afraid I don't even know how I died. Jiyu eyes looked at where Jiyu Jiao got the dog. Gu Jiao said it was simple, but he was stuck in the bomb basket and stabbed by the economy. Yuru Linji gave Jiyu Jiao a break. He also treated the young lady's mother like a flower, and gave it away just because of this local dog. Yuyo's dissatisfaction explained that it was you who made the tongue move. Yuyo and Yuru started to stir up trouble. Jiyu Yang's face is getting colder and colder. You all saw that he did it, right? Everyone bowed their heads and acquiesced. Only Yuyo weakly said, no, it's not him. Jiyu Yang said calmly. They all said he did it. You are the only one who said no. Yuanan whispered to the enemy, Jiyu, no. Yes, Yuru was even more happy. After all, the young lady is Xiao Gongzi's biological sister. How could Xiao Gongzi not believe in my personal pressure, as a young lady? Jiyu Yang is very satisfied with this answer. What is your name? Yu Eri asked me. I am Yu Jiyu Yang signaled to the four of them that except Dao Ya, everyone would help me build the villa. The Han Dao in Yuyo's heart is Yuyo. Everyone looked in disbelief. Shouldn't they be kicked out because of the hometown and the prophecy? Little darling actually has two faces. Jiyu Yang is always cold to others. I am always attracted by the news in my hometown. Jiyu Yang drove out all those who bullied old friends. Even if it was Momo, Fang Momo kept using the medicinal sword to apply it. The boss of the sophomore class has a fierce look on his face. Is this him? How about Jiyu Yang walking to his hometown, and not being cautious? The second boss's heart is against the old friend, etc. Silly love words. You threw so many people out just to relieve the little girl's anger. The old friend thought about it seriously and relieved her anger. With his eyesight and skill, he was going to touch the little puppy in Jiyu Jiao's arms. It had a lot of heart left in it. Was it seriously injured? Gu Jiao said he would give him command wherever he needed to find it. Jiyu Yang took him to his yard and told his father to take a clean path. Uya said, yes, young master, but in her heart she was running away. It's Uya. The little milk dog in Mali, my hometown, has eaten blood. Do you have goat's milk at home? I immediately said there are beans. The teeth haven't been exported yet. Huko, Huokya, just bring the food to buy. The cruel words in my heart have said many times, eat Huokya. The little goose started drinking so much that he didn't bother his old friend. It was so good to look at the stars like this. He also played with his old friend's stethoscope. He hung the stethoscope on his ear and listened to his own heart for a while. The cute little belly turned into a curious baby. The second boss and the old doctor gently opened the door. They couldn't believe their eyes. Didn't they say that the scene was so touching? What's going on now? Why don't you, the old doctor, act like a kidnapping. The old doctor was very pleasantly surprised. Compared with normal people, there is still a big gap, but teaching Iwang Yi can be regarded as an improvement. The old doctor is showing you how to make up the female seat. The young master's appearance is good. If you continue to hold it, you can take care of your head. I want you to take it with you. You will remember to give it to the young master. Jiyu Jiao did not tell him that he had already done it more than 10 days ago. If I gave it to you, he would have been in Chuanlang a long time ago. Jiyu Yang would have known that it was Professor Jiyu who treated him. The housekeeper told Jiyu Huye about what happened in Fayuan. The old prince is also very angry. The house cat is too courageous and dares to expose anyone. I think he has been in charge for so long that he has forgotten that he is just a slave. But the Marquis is in his heart, Jiyu Dao. Even if the Marquis disowns him, the child cannot be deceived by a low-level family tree. When the Marquis of Jiyu learned that Jiyu Jiao was in the invisible courtyard, he planned to go and take a look secretly. He also paid everyone except Fang Moming to beat him away. Bu, who also just stepped into the yard. I saw Gu Jiao and Guyan building a house for the little puppy. The camera container where the two get along. Am I really wrong, Feng Tai? Maybe Ren coming back is not a bad thing after all. Someone interrupted his private blood. It's such a bad fall. I've been given it every 3 days. You said there's no need to send it to your door. The monkey also wants to secretly take a look at the hometown. This is the emperor's appearance. The monkey also looks unhappy. What are you doing? The emperor secretly said. I heard that the lady is here. I'm here to protect your face. Got fucked by the lady. The emperor is talking nonsense again. People say that Monkey Lord also wants to save face. Can't we beat him? I'll let him. The emperor looked unbelieving and said perfunctorily. The monkey leaf suddenly thought of something. Yinjin is beautiful. The short monkey wants to take a piece of his blood. The emperor gave the Yinjin to the monkey leaf. But what do you want the lady to write about? Don't you believe that the lady is your biological child? Guho said angrily, do you not believe me now? He doesn't believe it. Huang Zhong was speechless. There is something wrong with your way of expressing it. It's okay if Shijie and Miss said you are the one who fell for her. You still have to say, I am your father. The old prince also came to Ji and Diliang, looking for an opportunity to write about his old friend. The light above them was the same. They both looked up at the same time. But no one paid him any attention and continued to work hard. So Huyi smiled awkwardly and said, I'm here to help you. The two of them looked at him with disgust on their faces. You are blocking the light. Don't love us here. Therefore, the Marquis almost fainted because of the accusation in his heart. Brat, I am still not your biological father. So Mr. Monkey saw that it was not possible to come, so he came to press him. He cleverly poured some tranquilizing medicine into the tea, and found the patient, and sent it to his hometown. Mentally calculating for a long time, I fell asleep while waiting, and taking his blood was like going backwards. He had a pretty good idea, but unexpectedly something went wrong in Gu Jiao's text analysis. He called Yashuan. Let's find out who asked you to send it. Yashuan said it was ordered by the Marquis. The delivery date is so bad that I can't wait to cook it right away. I'm old enough to be a father, but I actually drugged it. This man is so weak in his bones. He walked to the window angrily with his aunt, pushed open the window, and saw his aunt squatting under the window sill. The old monkey also saw the sand and paint rising in the old suburbs. What is that? Listen to my explanation. In fact, where can I actually explain it to him in the old suburbs? Foshan Whooping Jiao is strung together, and he can't find the north. The whole yard is full of ghosts and gods from the old monkey god. He was first violently raped and then thrown into someone. In the end, he was picked up and hung on a tree. I don't know how many minutes he was beaten by Gu Jiao this time. Huang Zhong's face was fiercely circled. How did you hang the information on the tree? Monkey Yi felt miserable. Is it me who hung it? Stinky girl. Every time I see that girl, nothing good happens. She is my guest. The old prince is full of guilt. I don't want to throw him back. When he saw Qing Jian, he instantly became the queen of reason. Apply directly for negotiation. When you see Qing Liang, you become a good boy. I had a good night's meal in my hometown, and I felt warm and comfortable. I left the hot spring villa calmly. Dean Lee's home is nearby, and he plans to visit Mrs. Lee. I saw many mulberry houses in the courtyard next door, and I remembered that Mrs. Li had very few mulberry houses. Jiyu Jiao struggled for a while and couldn't leave, so he thought about the door. Mrs. Bai's wife was Yao. She lightly coaxed her 2 lives and said with a smile, "It's you, the girl." After some discussion with old friends, Madam turns out to live so far away. "Yao," she said softly, "let's do it first." My husband's family heard about his old hometown. Looking around in the suburbs, he turned out to be Mrs. Hufu's mother. "But why is there no servant here?" Yao, she saw his confusion and smiled and said, "I want to be alone." "Be quiet. Let them go to the front yard. This is the backyard." "Does the girl live nearby?" My friend smiled a little embarrassedly. "I passed by and saw Sang Shen, so I wanted to come in and ask." "I was beating Mrs. Chu." The Yao Shi alliance said no, and he immediately sent his deputy Lin Momo to pick mulberry trees. He himself pulled Gu Jiao up. I don't know why he was very happy when he saw Gu Jiao. "What's your name, Diji?" "Teaching hometown." Yao Shi smiled in surprise. "And you were happy? We were a family 500 years ago." Yao didn't say a few words before he started picking at her fiercely. Jiyu Jiao looked at his super pale face and was a little worried. "Mrs. Jiyu, if you don't mind, I'll take your pulse." Yao Shi smiled, stretched out his hand and put it on the table. "Then it's up to Miss Jiyu." After the sale was completed, Jiyu Jiao found that his appearance was not very good, but his actual situation was worse than the appearance. The old friend asked many questions again. Yao Shi's sleep and appetite are not good. People who have seen the loan said it's because Yao Shi is overweight. He should relax and not think too much. Dai Fu said that Yusu was too heavy. In other words, it was a proof of one word. But he also had a proof that it would be very dangerous if it happened. Jiyu Jiao cleanly opened Xiaoyao's box and rummaged through it. "I found that I wanted to change the words and comment on the underground ballad. I said the dosage in French. Madam, you must take medicine so that you can get better. If you take the medicine with a smile, but have no hope in your heart, and the only medicine is useless, how can a little girl understand the medicine that comes to you casually?" Gu Jiao saw his doubts and said very seriously, "You can't throw Yang away. You have to promise me that you will really hint to Shi Yao." Yao Shi looked at Bu Zhenzhen's eyes, and no one had the heart to refuse, so he seriously agreed. Jiyu Jiao took Sang Sheng and left with peace of mind. If Mu Song was smiling, "It's good luck every time I see him. Is this girl my blessing?" Mrs. Hu Mansion would rather live in a remote countryside than live in the monkey mansion. Therefore, I have to be slow to have fun with my wife. I found that his physical condition was very poor. He didn't understand that he was Mrs. Hu. There should be no need to copy anything when you turn it over. Why does it appear to be too heavy? On the way home, he couldn't figure it out no matter how hard he tried, so he asked around like his second boss. Unexpectedly, he actually knew. The second boss told his old friend what he knew. Mrs. Hu seemed to have a surname of Yao, and she told some stories. He was the Marquis of Dingen, so he joined Zhongluo, and was a close friend of the former Marquis's wife. He had visited the former Marquis several times. There are rumors in the Beijing store that he took advantage of his predecessor, Mrs. Hu, to seal the deal. My old friend looked unbelieving. He doesn't look like this kind of person. The second boss went on to say that the truth was indeed that he had never met Ding Anho in monkey clothes. Gu Jiao asked him how he knew. The second boss smiled lightly and said, "Our Hui Chun candy is quite famous in the capital. I have a good reputation for treating the illnesses of our wives." However, the former wife did ask Yao Jiyu to take care of her children. An old friend asked about whether the former wife had children. The second boss nodded and said they had 3 sons. The wife before and after came up with the idea of asking Yao Shi to continue his suspicion of Marquis Dingen. Unfortunately, Yao Shi himself did not agree. Yao Shi refused personally. Yi was brewing the medicine in the back, and everyone heard about it. The second boss often had a rude tone, but after many twists and turns, Ding Anho finally foresees the trend and takes a liking to it at a glance. What follows is that you should be able to imagine that various rumors of roof shaking began in the capital. Mrs. Hu has been staying in the hot spring mountain for these years. Firstly, it was to accompany Jiyu Yang to recuperate from his illness, and secondly, it was also because he would not harm himself due to the illness he suffered in the capital. Marquis Dingen actually didn't have much love for his first wife. On the contrary, he was very gossipy, but he became more gossipy. The more people feel that Master Yao is Hongmei. I happened to meet Master Yao once, and has nothing to do with the translator. If he were Hongmei, no one would be sick in the world. After hearing this, my heart was shattered and I wanted to do something again right away. Therefore Red Eyes, the good thing about Shudu is making money. He made 1,200 in one exam. On the day when the results were released, Duruahan came to Feng Lin early in the morning. Wait and give me a word to win. Feng Xiaotuan, Feng Ming is so sleepy. I am not Feng Xiaotuan. Me, I am not with you either. Halfway through the drawing, Feng Ming saw the name on the binding slip. He was a little speechless in consciousness. He was just tied to a single road. Look, Duruahan looked in the direction of his finger. How is it possible that that guy actually begged me or laid hands on me? Feng Huang Kuei gave him a look. You know him? His belly was cold and his face turned dark. What are you doing? Why did you keep rubbing me out with your fingers? Feng Huang Kuei said he would like to see the book and win the word. On the second day of Fox's release, there was another academician show. There were 2 shows in total, namely the 8-part show at Taijing. Korakuro has taken 2 cases in a row. Heisei has not been out of Shaosan Yuan for nearly 10 years. All the officials were worried about selling Liu Lang based on the future. However, something unexpected happened to everyone. Taijing, who sells Liu Lang, actually sells White Dog. The invigilator said that he saw Xiaoliu Wang written all over. At this time, Luo Taisho came to report and asked the person who was selling the leaky net. It was not Bai Jun who handed over to him. When I was pretending to be stabbed, I felt that something was wrong. Someone had touched Xiaoliu Lang's eye organ. After some investigation, it was found that someone gave 1,200 ingzi to Yu Jun. Let him destroy the salesman's gift. Luo Taisho and pretending to be the governor unanimously decided that they could only retake the exam. Luo Taisho came to visit, and the war commander Xiao Liuwang asked him if he needed to discuss it again. The salesman looked at the candidates outside. If they retake the exam, some of them will fail. So Luo is too familiar. If Luo Tai loses his hand, he can't react. What am I doing? Penuliang said again. I heard that Luo Taisho's term is coming soon. I hope re-examination is a big deal. Reporting false injuries to the court. Sending major demerits will affect Luo Taisho's re-election. Luo Taisho is also very helpless. This dynasty has limited control over passenger examinations. Once it is reinstated due to fraud, my official position will be considered the end. Pinyao Lang not only said without hesitation how much Luo Taisho thought his future was worth, but Luo Taisho couldn't believe that he was undocumented. This guy is blatantly banging the hood. Pinyao Lang saw too much, Taisho, and really didn't answer. Taisho is a pro-official, so he won't be able to get much nutrition. But that person must have spent a lot of money to bribe the official. Lejuan. Win word win to me. Luo Tai let out a sigh of relief. Yes, yes. I will definitely absorb it and give it to Xiao Baoxing Song. I thought that the matter would be resolved like this, but I didn't expect Pinyao Lang to say again, if no one in the world does anything, I will be Shaosan Yuan. Mo Taisho doesn't deny this, right? Luo Taisho Alliance nodded. Of course, the strength of the elimination candidates is obvious to all in this level, and Master Jisha. Sales Lang Yu Tanchi and Shaosan Yuan have bonuses. I can't get this bonus now. Luo Taisho got it right after trying it out. Why do I feel like this hole is a bit big? In the end, Luo Taisho could only make up for 200 taels from his own pocket. Some people were really happy and some were ugly. Shali Ubang was heartbroken. It turned 1,200 in one go. He made 1,200 taels in the first process, and the market was very bad. When I returned to the village, I said hello to Sanshu and Liu Shen. They watched the game for 3.14 seconds, and didn't even want to watch the game. The sun was rising to the west. They suddenly remembered that the game passed 2 secret guards. No wonder they were so happy. Others also stretched themselves out. Sure enough, other people's children never disappoint. Popular online satire. He gently opened the door. My old friend was giving little Jin Kong a bath. My old grandmother was sitting in the hall beside her, and Gauden was sitting next to her. The 6 wolves were watching so intently. Suddenly, Xiao Jinkong looked over and suddenly understood. Teacher Jiyu stopped shaking the water and turned his head quietly. The two looked at each other for 5.2 seconds. It was too bad that their hearts were beating. Teacher Jiyu blushed like a little girl. They just stared at each other blankly, and no one said anything. At this time, we have to rely on Granny Jiyu. The wolf is back, but there is nothing delicious. Pinyao Lang came to his senses and took her. she said and walked forward, but he didn't look at the threshold. He looked so delicate when he showed up. Fortunately, he held the door, and Rakuro felt so embarrassed and dizzy when he rushed forward. The old friend pretended to turn around and continued to be washed away by Xiao Jingkong. However, as soon as he floated into the water, Xiao Jingkong heard what he saw. Oops, it's so cold. The water has turned into cold water. Jiyu Jiao is embarrassed and has to make water. Xiao Jingkong feels miserable. My brother-in-law is back. Jiao Jiao doesn't see me anymore. Jiyu Po looked at Jiyu Jiao and then at Xiao Liulang. There was a sound effect on the road. She felt that she would soon repay Xiao Chongsun, so I gave Xiao Jinkong some good clothes, but a group of robot babies swaggered around me. Xiao Jinkong became very proud. I had already memorized the names. From 1 to 7, it was exactly 77. I have a little question. How to distinguish these ones that look the same as each other? Liu Lang brought my great-aunt her favorite prunes. A set of target tools was prepared for Jiyu Shaosheng. 6G's little sentiment beside him was wiped out, so he didn't bring it to me. He looked at column 6 without moving. Teacher Jiyu immediately got his little emotion. Is Jinkong also looking forward to his gift? Little Jinkong turned his head away when he wanted to hand it over. I guess not. The selling wolf took out the gift to fight the tower. Don't forget about it. I'll give it to the dog. Dr. Wanlian's question Q. What am I doing? Xiao Jingkong jumped up and grabbed the gift. He was young and couldn't play with it. Finally, it was a gift from an old friend, who took the box. The face is full of expectations. This should be Zhanzi. Such an expensive box, at least it comes from Ingzhan. He specially gave me Ingzhan, that is to say. He took it open and tried a cat. Piniao Lang said seriously that your calligraphy is always bad. In addition to the wrong posture, when comparing goods, it also has something to do with Mao Bai. Gu Jiao was dumbfounded on the spot. Are we just hot? Why did Simaobi give me a bird? Xiao Liulang also introduced it. This wolf is like the one who became famous in the video. It is very suitable for your strength. The wolf in Jiyu Jiao's arms is like a little black face. Xiao Yulang handed him another sign. I put it in my bank account at home. If you need it, just go there by yourself. With the money, my mood seemed to be getting a little better, so I gave it to Pin Liulang to check the leg. The wound from the surgery was almost invisible and not painful. He pinched Nian's calf again. It felt good. It seemed that Fengli had not stolen anything. Incentive function basically restored. Why can't he get rid of the crutch? Is it because he is overprotecting himself, or is he having a knot in his mind? What exactly has he gone through? He is a scholar who has passed the exam. People who looked down on him before want to come to Baki. The king of sales passed the secret guard exam, and soon spread the news in the direction of strength. Of course the Jiyu family also heard the news. Their situation was about to change. If I had known better, I wouldn't have exposed him and the Jiyu family. Jiyu Changlu was a little envious. After two people laid hands on each other, they were only one away from the mistress. Jiyu Dashun is sour after taking Ningming's style. Dean Li has given him a small institution, and he will certainly make great progress. In the past, everyone in the family would have had a few sour words with him, but today everyone was quiet. In this way, Bu Dashun was very unhappy, and after losing Li Zheng's errand, the family had been worried, so Jiyu Shaoshun only bought the head without any effort. So Dashun suddenly wanted to take a picture of something. His godmother is really lucky. She married the right scholar. Everyone knows it. Is it the godmother who is blessed? She must be that boy from Pinyuolang. Does she know who she married? Hu Fu's daughter. Ignore that the color of the tongue is the color of the tongue. If it is drained, it will fall immediately. I added the largest piece of meat, and put it into Xiao Shun's bowl without hesitation. Where's Xiao Shun? You finally came back to eat some meat. Xiao Shun had a look of disgust on his face. His smile didn't look like my mother's at all. Jiyu Chang is here to join in the fun. Where is Xiao Shun? The uncle has prepared a cup of tea, and 2 old hens will bring it to you later. Jiyu Shaoshun is not angry. I will go. What are you going to do? Therefore, Chang Hai Gansui said bluntly, there is no overnight feud as a family. We did something wrong before, but now we can't help you together. From today on, our family will live a good life. Therefore, Xiao Sun is lukewarm. You see that my brother-in-law is now a scholar, So you want to curry favor with her. After Xiao Shan had finished eating, he quickly hugged 2 hens and carried some tea leaves. Your eyebrows are rushing out at a speed of 50 meters. You are afraid that the dirty things behind you will catch up and wait for you. You owe me an answer. Go alone. Xiao Shan was very sensible and closed the door with a sound, so Chang Hai had personal contact with Z from the door. The 2 sticks are flowing down, so I often give him the funny face that my mother squeezed. You want to eat shit. The old prince on the other side was also a little troubled, and a letter from the scholar-failing Empress Kilometers urged them to return to the capital. Xu Feifei does not take care of the examination room, but just because of the colorful flowers, I arrived at the comfortable bookworm. This year, Jiyu's Ji Li Tai will come. Now that he is in better health, it's okay to go back. I just want it when I think about it. My head hurts again. This time I have to take him back to Beijing. It's just that he has been exposed all his life. He has to find someone to teach him well when he goes back. The emperor kindly reminded you. Have you skipped any key steps? For example, is the lady willing? The prince also feels that he can do it again. Is there any room for him to be unhappy with this? I am his clearing house. I don't care if he believes it or not. If I really want to take him away, can he still resist? Emperor Zong turned left. Who was the lady who was beaten up and hung on the tree before? If a 3-year-old child blurts out words that a scholar doesn't know, it's a bit harmful. When Xiao Jin went out to Liuji, he met Zhong Shen and greeted him very politely. Did you know him? Zhong Chen liked this child when he saw it. It's Jin Kong. He came out to keep a small machine again. Xiao Jin Kong said seriously. This is training the formation. In order to have some tricks one day, they can also defend their homeland and prevent bad guys from coming to cause trouble for Jiaojia. Other people's phones are running around when they go out. Xiao Jinkong was actually able to find the right position. He inserted the plug with both hands and directed as he walked. He lined up the right position, and I could tell whether I had the right position when I was facing him. Xiao Jinkong came to his hometown, Laozhan, and was attracted by a burst of strange noises. Someone was reading intermittently. Xiao Jinkong's wall slope was a little unbearable. He took a walk and walked over to a bridge. Xiao Shuan's brother's family, he was not studying at home and running around. What are you doing here? So Da Shun got distracted while he was reciting it. It was all Jiyu Xiao Shun's fault. There was so much noise at home, that he forced me to come out and hide in this damn place. Xiao Jing rushed behind him and saw that his little head glanced at him. I read this word a lot, and Jiyu Dashun was so frightened by the sudden announcement of the little baby. He turned around with a question on his face. His old friend Jane came back to the river. What was he doing here? Xiao Jinkong thought he didn't understand, so he read it again. Hide. Yin Tong is hiding. Guda Shengdan has stuck it on his face. Children don't understand, so don't talk nonsense. Xiao Jinkong inserted into his waist. I'm not talking nonsense. I have learned. Jin Dangsa hides his feelings. I will memorize it long ago. So Das Hun glanced at him half-heartedly. And said this other word, this one. That little Jin Kong also told the number with his little mouth. Although Jiyu Das Hun didn't understand it, it was still incredible that this child could actually feel a little hurt in his heart. Xiao Jinkong squeezed her hands and looked at Jiyu Das Hun sadly. How did you study? I heard that you are a scholar. Are all scholars so bad? Jiyu Das Hun was left a little hurt. Xiao Jinkong turned into an old father and became worried. Oh no, the bad brother-in-law is also a scholar, so he can't be this bad. Will he be able to support the family until I grow up? Did it suddenly lose the 6G mood? Come home with the lighter on fire. After rummaging through the box, you can take out the tree from the bottom of the tooth box. He is just one word. How do you pronounce this word? Tai read it lightly. Xiao Jinkong frowned seriously, and Aaron nodded, thinking with his eyebrows. After that, he tested Xiao Liulang's many words one after another, and Xiao Liulang got them all right. He then took the test on Xiao Liulang's service, and Xiao Liulang's explanations were similar to those of the master, and even more rigorous and clear than the master. It seems that the bad brother-in-law is studying hard. This 3-year-old father is relieved. How did Pinyolang know about his little wine? This is a sudden nature, and he wants to admit it. Jinshang's children start teaching at the age of 7, but little Jinkong is smarter than ordinary children, and has a little foundation in 4 seconds. It is very important to send him to school early. This saves him pestering his old friend all day long. Xiao Jinkong now puts himself in the loop. Mrs. Hu has always disliked her daughter. After 14 years, she finally knows why. Yao Shi was playing chess with his daughter, but she was not in the mood. I feel that my health has been much better recently, but I always think of my hometown, and I am so frightened that I lose my mind. Jiyu Jingyu taught him several lives before he turned around. Looking at Jiyu Jingyu, if he always felt sorry for him. No one knows that Yao Shi used to be very alarmed for no reason, but now he is very quiet. Mrs. Hu was born with a dragon fetus, and since confinement, he has been more intentional. When he looks at the fish in the wall guide, he always has a feeling of being unable to calm down. In the year of March 4th, Jiyu Yang poured the soup on Jiyu Jingyu's body. When Jiyu Jingyu's anger changed, he threw Jiyu Yang to the ground. Jiyu Yang's suppressed communicator. When Yao found out, he slapped Gajanyu 8 times without asking about the original situation, and even wanted to throw Gajanyu away. For so many years, he has been unwilling to live in Hofu because he was afraid that he would hurt the fixed domain again. Therefore, the policeman was handed over by the pressure ring. Yao walked back to the yard alone and passed by a rockery stone. He heard the fierce quarrel. Yao recognized them. One was Fang Momo and the other was his cousin Sui Sui. Sui Sui Dashing Hendao, Our Lady reported an error. She is not the biological child of Lord Monkey and his wife. If only I could learn to throw a stick. What did you say? Who made the mistake? Juiquan and Fang Mumu turned their heads and played with each other. Yao walked upright to Juju and said what you just said again. What is an error, and what is not his biological son? He simply lowered his head, knowing nothing. The young lady made a mistake. She was not the daughter of Ninghai. The real lady grew up in a village. She was ugly and stupid, and was often bullied. When Hai found her, she didn't hear the rest of the words. He only felt his eyes blinking. Suddenly, heaven and earth turned around in my old lady's house. So Huye was furious. How could you eat the queen? The bride was alone in the yard. It's an expensive place to be escorted. Monkey Leaf, please spare my life. Madam has always disliked people following her. At this time the clouds fell. Hurry up and get the invitation. It's just that she held it a little too long. So much so that Mr. Buho broke out in cold sweat. What's wrong, Chen Yun? Cheng Yui frowned. It's strange. It's really strange. Why is the pulse smell of Yao Shi better than expected? Chen Yui asked Fang Mumu, what has madam been eating recently? Fang Momo got the sample and started running it. His wife refused to take the medicine properly even though she had no money. She suddenly started taking it recently. Yu Yiwen Wenwen has a familiar recipe and a familiar taste, but it can still be made like this. Chen Yui said that if he hadn't opened, therefore, the monkey is also anxious. Are these the ones that will make the lady unconscious? Chen Yui Chen cited it. It's hard to say that I want the tranquilizer in the jar. It should not harm the body. I have never seen the other kind of pills. I dare not look at it, so the monkey is jumping like a thunder again. Who brought these things to madam? So I tell you to come quickly. Your father is in trouble again.